Yep, that's me, white knuckling it through that gulch after a big rainstorm, heading to the wave. But before I get ahead of myself, let me show you how I got here. Welcome to Kanab, Utah, circa 2021, when they were still doing in-person lottery tickets to go see the wave. If you didn't know before, the wave does require a permit. There's only about 64 people that are allowed every year to go in and see the wave. The odds of getting a ticket is actually about the same as winning the Russian roulette. There are some people who have waited 10 to 20 years to get theirs. It is a very early Thursday or Friday morning. I don't even know what day it is apparently. And we are here at the Kanab Visitor Center.
This hike, if you've never been on it before, it is a strenuous hike. There are no surfaces out there. It is 3.5 miles of sand and slick rock going in and coming out. So 7 miles round trip.
The application to get a permit has changed a lot in the last few years, but if you go to culturetrekking.com, I outline this in this article, link below in the description box, to give you all of the updates and how to apply for your own permit.
This drawing is for tomorrow's entry into the wave. We are allowed to give out 4 permits per day, up to 16 people. So if we get the first draw out is a permit of 1 person, that's 1 permit, 1 person. We're not going to get 16 today. So we can get, if it's 4 people with 1 person on each one, it's going to be 4 permits, 4 people.
How many people don't like the idea of only 4 permits? Okay, good. Write your senator, don't come tell us. Okay. We have no control over that. The BLM here has no control over that. That decision was made by your senators and the Secretary of the Interior.
There was an excitement trying to go in and get this in-person lottery. I don't gamble much, but this gamble was exciting because it meant we could go on a hike. Being around with 100 other people all vying for just 4 permits or 16 spots. It's pretty intense and everybody wants it so bad. There are people that have made the trip for 3 years in a row and still have never gotten a permit. After confirming that each of the applicants were still in the room, then we were able to move on to the actual drawing. The tension was palpable as he spun that bingo ball and finally pulled out the number 91.
91.
Those who didn't win, we all kind of begrudgingly clapped. Some were a little more disappointed than others, but there was still hope that the 3 other permits that were going to be given would somehow land with me and my friends. Spoiler alert, it never did, but we did have 1 more day we were going to try and get permits. There are plenty of things to do in Kanab when you're getting the lottery ticket, so if you don't get the ticket to the wave, there is still so many other just as beautiful things you can do. So we're on day 2 of the lottery. When you come, make sure that you're not putting your name on other people's groups, that every member of your party is here, otherwise they're gonna throw it out. If they see one name on multiple different groups, they're gonna throw it out as well, so don't try to cheat the system. I'll show you how many people are here today, a lot less than on Friday.
Number 56.
As luck would have it, we didn't end up getting a permit that day, but fast forward a year, and out of nowhere, my friend calls me and says, we've got a permit. Our friends flew into Utah. We drove down to Kanab, stayed the night, and overnight we had a major rainstorm. So we weren't able to go the traditional route via road to the trailhead of the wave. When you're heading into the canyon, you want to choose two ways. If you go on the 89 route, you're going to run into a lot bigger drops with deeper pools of water. However, if you go the southern route into the wave area through Fredonia, you are still going to run into some streams, but even those cars with decent clearance can get to the trailhead. And that, my friends, is how I ended up going through that gulch in my car and hiking this trail with my friends to the wave. Now, if you think that's where the adventure, or rather misadventures, stopped, you are very much mistaken. You see, we were hiking this hike in August, which is notoriously a very hot season for southern Utah and Arizona. I also had heat stroke as a kid and was very prone to getting it again. All right, so we're gonna take this trail and go up this saddle right here. You can see the guy with the bright green backpack way out there. So, how we doing, team?
We're hydrating.
Hydrating. So we're at number 3 and we're following these guys right up here. Look how pretty this is. I also have a chronic foot problem, and this is about the point that my feet started to go numb, but I didn't want to be that one person that complained. So this is where we're going. There's a sign there, and we're headed right up in here, around this area. Hold on. Such pretty views, yeah? So you come on this left side because this side's a little too sheer, especially if it's raining. This gets really slick. So just make sure you pick your path carefully. We're headed that way. So we just came from over here, made our way through this wash and then up this sand. And that's where we're headed. This is where we're headed, right up through here. I'm not gonna lie, guys, this is a really tough hike. I'm just glad that I have some people that are patient with me in making my way slowly. I'm by far the slowest in the group, but you know what? Take your time. And if you're not in the fittest shape of your life, I would say just do it not in the summer. Because if this was in the heat, we're lucky we have clouds and that the sand is a little harder with the rain, but if this was in the heat, there's no way I would have made it, but I'm determined. So when you come through this valley, you come up the sand, and then the wave is right up in there. This is the toughest part. With the help of a very dear friend of mine, I put one foot in front of the other, and I made it. So I've debated for a while on whether to even post this video, and it's taken me almost a year since the hike to actually post the video of the hike itself, because I was debating on whether or not to share the real story of what happened. I was so embarrassed, but I decided that it's important and to show all realities of when you're traveling. So it was about 10 minutes after I arrived, I got this horrendous nausea and found this alcove and threw up off the edge of the alcove. And I didn't tell my friends, but a local guide was there and his clients saw me and he came over to talk to me. And he was so kind and he gave me some of his powdered electrolytes and salt tablet. and I was eating something, and I told him I was a physician assistant, and we argued a lot, and I begged him not to say anything, and I said, if I can just cool down and eat something, I'm gonna be okay. So I was so embarrassed, and I know it happens to even the healthiest hikers, but I was starting into heat stroke, and that's why I think he was so concerned, and I think he ended up telling my friends something anyway, and he kept an eye on me on the way back, which I really appreciated. But it was about halfway back that my nausea got worse, and at one point I even forgot my friends' names, but I didn't tell them. I knew what was happening, but I was too stubborn to stop, and I kept going until the nausea got so bad I ended up stopping under a bush and threw up about 8 times. I couldn't even stand up on my own after that, and I needed help, but I wanted to ride that wave of adrenaline. And the thought of being airlifted to a hospital when I'm a PA was absolutely mortifying. And I think my stubbornness and the anger of them threatening that was, I think that's what kept me going. And I knew that if I got to the car, I would be okay because I had ice packs there. The friend who'd been with me the whole time, encouraging me, when we finally got back to the car, I'm never going to forget what he told me. He just said, I'm proud of you. And that's what friends are for, to say things to us that we can't even say to ourselves. If I was to ever do this hike again, I definitely wouldn't do it in August, or any summer month for that matter. I would also go very early in the morning and not wear a black shirt. The hike could have turned out very different for me. Very different. Well, I probably shouldn't have continued. I'm proud I made it back. And after a year of debating about posting this video, I'm really glad I am. Only because I want to say to the person who may be watching this, be kind to yourself. Don't be afraid to say, I can't, because of your size or the abilities that you think you have. Don't be afraid to say that you're struggling. If they think you're fat or disgusting or lazy or just a complainer, just let them think what they're going to think, because nothing you say is going to change that. And most of the time, that's all in your mind anyway. That's your mind telling you those lies, really. And this is your life. You know yourself better than anyone. And you can do extraordinary things. And not being able to complete a hike because you value your safety is okay too. I just want you to know that you're not alone and that you can do hard things. And don't ever give up. And you are doing far more than the rest of the folks sitting at home. So give yourself a little bit of a break. And know that I'm sending my love from a much deeper place of understanding and empathy, not just for you, but for myself. Big hugs to you guys, and thanks for watching this, and I will see you in the next one. Stay tuned for bloopers.
Where the is the wave?